Hello, everybody. This is Noel from the TARDIS Zone, and this is the TARDIS Zone Talks Doctor Who promotes queer tolerance, says show's trans writer. Fairness, peace, and the triumph of joy over hatred are in the Time Lord's DNA, insists James Dawson. I have to say, the Interstellar Song Contest, I knew this would be one of the episodes where I think Doctor Who fans that are still holding on, which they shouldn't be, in all fairness, but I think this will be the episode that will finally make fans out there realise what this show is all about. Look at this whole season of particularly season 2 of Doctor Who has promoted hatred towards podcasters, hatred towards white men, hatred towards anybody that doesn't fall in line with James Dawson, RTD, David Tennant, and all of these other little morons that have worked on Doctor Who, promoting an ideology which I believe is dangerous. Uh, as I said, if you're a grown ass adult and you decide to change gender, I actually have no problem with that whatsoever, to be quite honest with you, because you're an adult and you've made your own decision. But I've always maintained that children cannot be making life altering decisions like this, and I still stand by that. And I've been saying this for the last 8 to 10 years, that children cannot be making decisions on their bodies at a young age. You ask anybody out there if a child can get a tattoo, they'll say no. You ask anybody out there if a child can drink, they'll say no. You ask anybody out there if a child can drive a car, take drugs, or whatever, and they'll tell you no, right? But it's okay for children to come and tell you that they're born in the wrong body, and then everybody just drops everything and goes along with it. I'm sorry, I don't know what kind of world people are living in, but if my child came to me and told me they were born in the wrong body, I know exactly why they're saying that is because they're hearing it in the educational system, and I'd pull them out of that school ASAP. No, child, listen, we all have imaginations. We all wanted to be something different when we grew up, and that changed quite a lot. At first, I wanted to be an astronaut. I also wanted to be a fireman. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a lot of things. The point I'm trying to make is that children flip flop. Children have wild imaginations, and we all wanted to be different things, and of course when we grow up, we come to the realization, obviously, that we're skilled or whatever on certain things. But the thing about it is, if you children like that are being granted permission to ruin their bodies, but if you ask one of these trans activists if a child can get a tattoo, if a child can drink, if a child can take drugs, if a child can have sex, they'll say no. But it's okay for them to absolutely change their body and make a life-altering decision, which is a life-altering decision. What the trans activists don't tell you is that child is going to be on drugs for the rest of their life. What they don't tell you is that those drugs then have adverse effects on children, on the bone marrow, the bone structure, all of this, and all the other medical ailments that come with transitioning. We've also heard from detransitioners, and this is one thing that the trans activists out there dismiss, are the detransitioners that come out and tell you the truth on what goes on with all of this. Listen, this has infected the educational system all the way up to university. Okay, they do not educate children anymore. They indoctrinate your children, whether it's got to do with this trans ideology, climate change, or whatever other bollocks that they want, that they're pushing these days. That's what they teach your kids in school. I would insist that any parent, if a child comes home and tells you that they think they're born in the wrong body, I would pull them out of that school personally myself. I have a daughter myself, and thankfully she left school before all of this took hold in school. But I can tell you one thing, that if she had ever came to me and told me she was born in the wrong body, I would do everything in my power to convince her that she wasn't born in the wrong body and that she's okay the way she is. And this is the thing, James Dawson is a raging homophobe. He hates homosexuality. He came out and said that homosexuality was a consolation prize for gay men because they all secretly wanted to be women. They're quotes from James Dawson themselves. And this is the man that RTD thinks is best suited to write an episode for Doctor Who. Not only any old episode, the most expensive episode of Doctor Who ever, as far as we've been told, by James Dawson and other people that work on this show. But this isn't a science fiction show anymore, folks. This is clearly a show that's being designed to push certain ideologies and certain agendas out there, and it's time that fans now stop looking, and I mean those fans that have hung on, still looking for something good in this. There is nothing good in this. There will never be anything good that will come from this. This era is bust as far as I'm concerned, and if I was Disney Plus, I would not be pumping any more money into future episodes of Doctor Who. I would pull the plug and have nothing to do with it, because we're going down a very dark road with this show now. The ratings of this show are not gone down because of the weather. Okay, in 2005, when Doctor Who came back on screens, it aired from March to June. The weather, bank holiday, whatever other excuses that the shills out there have given you in relation to the reason why this show is not doing well in the overnights or the consolidated figures, is all a lie. The reason why the show is not doing well is because of stuff like this. Okay, Doctor Who is a science fiction show. It's not a show that is designed to be pushing this sort of ideology or this sort of agenda. Okay, it's about a man in a blue box that travels the universe, saves planets, and goes on adventures. Okay, nothing more, nothing less. And they have completely corrupted this show. They've completely ruined the reputation of this IP. This Doctor Who is the longest sci-fi show in the world. Okay, it's an institution, and this institution has been dragged through the mud. It's been absolutely destroyed from within, and it's going to take fans, some fans, years to even consider, coming back to this show. And it's absolutely disgraceful what they have done. Fans out there need to be more vocal now, especially those fans that are still holding out that something special can happen with this show. Nothing is ever going to happen to this show under these people, right? The bottom line is that this show needs to go back to basics. This show needs the people that are in charge of protecting this IP need to do something about this show. I would also say to the estates, the Terry Nation estates and all the other estates that are part of this, to pull out of your deals and not give BBC permission to use the Daleks, to use whatever else that was created by someone else on this show, and send a clear message to the BBC that this is not going to be tolerated any longer. Doctor Who cannot continue to go down this route. If it does, it will never come back on TV again, and that's a fact. Fans will never tune in to watch Doctor Who again. Anyway, leave your opinion in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. And there's also a link to buy me a coffee underneath there. If you could support us to keep us going on here on YouTube, it'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you, and I'll talk to you for the next one, folks.